Yo, what's up, dogs? I am back with a movie review. This time, this movie review is going to be a little different. I'm trying just like to get you a review of soon as I come out of the theater, fresh from the top of my dome, and we're just jumping right into it, okay? I took a couple notes, and this is what we got. I am reviewing A Better Man, or just A Better Man, which is a story about Robbie Williams, who's an entertainer, songwriter, musician, and of that sort. And he was kind of popular in the 90s when I was a teenager. So I remember him a little bit with Take That and him as in his solo career as Robbie Williams near the end of the like early 2000s and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't really know too much, or do I even remember a lot of his stories and his trials and tribulations over here in Canada, as he did do okay in North America. I think he had a couple hit singles here, but I think he's probably maybe way more popular in the UK and probably Europe as well. And that's why when I was watching this movie, I was kind of curious, sitting there going, who is this actually for? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm 45, so my generation, the Gen X, would probably want to see this movie, but also at the same time, it's kind of like, do we care? And I think that's a problem that's probably going into this movie because like it's more of like who like do we care? You know what I'm saying? But if you take away the veil of Robbie Williams and him, this is actually a pretty good story about this ape-like character, right? And it's a story of trials and tribulations, and I really got into it. Like I really enjoyed this artwork of Robbie Williams being an ape or a chimp or whatever you want to call them, like just the whole concept of using like that Planet of the Apes art style as just a regular one dude. And this is how Robbie Williams portrays and feels himself, is he's a monkey, right? Like that's, I guess, like that's his thing, right? I don't know. He didn't really explain it in the movie of why he chose this, but maybe there's some clips out there of him on the circuit talking about this movie, saying why he chose to represent himself in this Planet of the Apes style of art. And honestly, I got into it. It took a minute to get into it, but then you kind of just like, oh, it's Caesar. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of just get into it. And it's an interesting story because there's a lot of like I said, trials and tribulations of this man, and it is not your typical biopic, I would say. This movie really blurs the lines of like, it's a biopic because we're learning about Robbie Williams and what he had to go through from his youth of being like kind of like a loser, nobody that no one really respected, and then him getting into being a pop star where he's joining Take That in the like, just again, I keep saying trials and tribulations, but that's really what it is. Like it's the slice of life of these guys and what they went through, and then also on top of going from Take That to his solo career, and just really like his troubles with addiction too. There's a lot of alcohol, there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of sex. I don't think he really has too many scandals that he goes through in this, but you also like go through like his love life, and just it's a lot of everything, and it's actually pretty entertaining. Like I was locked in for the majority of this movie. I didn't really check out at all. I was like, I am into this movie. And that's the one thing that I think really carries this movie is the actual musical slash music elements in this movie, because once they drop certain songs from his catalog, whether it be like Take That or just Robbie Williams, they actually melt down into the movie as a musical number, and it's actually really well done. They blend the music in very nicely. Unlike Joker 2, this one really blends it in, and the musical elements to this movie are actually really enjoyable. Like I was into it. Like they like each one was really good, and the two best ones. The one is I can't honestly I can't remember the song names because I'm not a huge Robbie Williams fan. Actually, all of them are really good in this though. But the two best one is when he meets his the girl from All Saints on the boat. That musical number is really well done. And then the second one that I really liked was the "Let Me Entertain You" song at the end, not the end, but like near the end, and that sequence was freaking fabulous too. And like, I don't want to try and I'm not going to try and spoil everything anything here. This is going to be like a spoil free review, but that ending sequence of that with that song is so freaking cool. I was for a moment there, I was sitting there, I'm just like, what the hell am I watching? Because it just goes crazy. You know, okay, I'm not spoiling it, but you know what the scene kind of really reminds me of is the scene from The Kingsman when Colin Farrell goes in the church scene. There's a scene like that in this movie where Robbie Williams is finally confronting his demons and he's fighting them in this mosh pit sequence at the big auditorium finale, so to speak. And it is so cool, man. It was like one of my favorite sequences in the movie. And there's a lot of really good sequences in this movie. Like, honestly, I was quite surprised at the entertainment value that I was getting out of this, where I was just like, this is cool, you know? And I'm not a huge musical fan, but there's some of these sequences where I'm just like, I am invested, you know what I'm saying? And that was like a theme throughout this movie, too, is like his demons are always haunting him and taunting him and bringing him down. And you see it a lot throughout this movie. And sometimes it was a little comical to me when you would hear these demon voices because it really honestly reminded me of oh geez, what am I thinking? Smeagol. I'm thinking The Hobbit right now. And just like Gollum in general, right? I'm just sitting there. Every time you hear his demon monkey voices, I'm just like, oh, it's Gollum. He wants his ring. But it's cool. It is cool, okay? And just to get to like throughout the whole thing, there's a lot of drama between the family too, him and his dad in particular. And there's a very strong relationship between him and his mom. There's a relationship between him and the girl from All Saints, and just his relationship with the music industry and his managers and even his best friend. Like, there's a lot about relationships in here and how they're important and how they bring Robbie down and up as well. You know what I'm saying? And then once we get to the finale, which is pretty much him, like most rock stars, rehab. You go through that moment, and then he finally has the big finale, the final concert, which is like a Robbie Williams stripped down live event, like, suit and tie, black tie, very Sinatra's thing. And actually, that's another element in this movie of like his musical um, uh, inspirations, or so to speak, that really drove him was his father and his love for Sinatra and stuff like that, right? And the greats, like, you know what I'm saying, like that. But that ending sequence, dude, I almost cried. I don't even care if this is counts as a spoiler or not. I'm sorry, but the very end when he stands there at the top of the stage and he points up to the heavens to his Nan and he's like, "Nan, this is your grandson singing for you. This one's for you. I did it," kind of thing. And I just was like, I'm holding in the tears. It almost got me, guys. It almost got me. This is that close. Anyways, I enjoyed the movie. I really did. I don't know if this movie will actually ever get into my movie collection. And I don't know if I'd want to see it again anytime soon. But maybe in like 5 years, I might sit down and be like, hey, that was a good movie. Because it is a good movie in general. I'm like, this is a good movie. And on that note, should you see it, that's really going to be up to you. If you really think, like if you're into Robbie Williams or take that or something like that, you might appreciate this for the music section alone. But I have to say, like, it genuinely is a solid movie that if you don't know about him and his history, you'll come out of this movie going, wow, that was a fun movie. And you learn something about the guy, even if most of the biopic isn't even real. Like, these are like events that are real, but they're too fictitious. But you know what? If I want real, I'm gonna watch a real documentary about the guy. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's all I have to say about this movie. Worst case scenario, guys, Tuesday cheap night if you really want to go out date night with it, or wait till it comes out on digital, VOD, or stream it. You're going to have a good time with this movie whenever you do get around to watching it. Trust me. Trust me. Now, if you've already seen this movie, leave a comment below. Drop a like. Let's engage about this film because I really enjoyed myself. I'm still thinking about it. Like, I really enjoyed myself with this film. And on that note, my friends, I am out of here. So drop a like. If you like this movie and you saw this movie, leave a comment below. Let's engage. Let's talk about it. Drop a subscribe button too if you want to. Hit the notification bell because I'm always reviewing movies and trailers. I'm out of here. It's Monday night. It's time to relax, put a little steak on the Barbie kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Get some protein shake in me, and we're chilling. Because I'm going to start watching Prime America right now. Oh, sorry, America Prime Evil. That's what I'm going to get into right now. And on that note, bye everybody. Have a good evening. Peace out. Bye.